We continue to preview the 2025 college volleyball season. Our stop today is Ashland, Oregon, or maybe just outside Ashland, Oregon right now, as we get to visit with Coach Josh Rohlfing from the Southern Oregon Raiders. Coach, let's talk about 2024 really quickly because it was just a fantastic year. We're going to preview 25 today, but 2024, 32-4 overall, 19-3 in Cascade play. You get a tournament championship as well within the conference, and I would imagine probably a little bit of vengeance maybe for a loss or two along the way, so that had to feel good. You make the run all the way to the national semifinals, a number 3 postseason ranking in the country. Wow, what a year.
Yeah. Only one more step we could have made, really. Yeah. So we felt pretty good about it, and just, everything came together throughout the year the way we had hoped. You never know what's going to happen, but we had a phenomenal group of young women, and they competed their tails off this year, and we're just really proud of their efforts and everything they did for this university.
Well, there were a lot of seniors on that team. As a matter of fact, the roster, if you look at the 24 roster, more than half of the players had senior listed besides their name. What does that mean then for recruiting? Because you've got the high schoolers you're going to recruit, transfers that I know you want to bring in, and do they get a chance to look at that and say, hey, there may be a spot for me?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it created the largest recruiting class that I've had since I've been here. We have 12 new faces coming in, and I believe they're going to be very solid and very good. And I've mentioned this before to people, but success begets success. And so having a group that was so successful this year helped us on the recruiting trail going into the off season. It was more of an extended year this year in the recruiting process, just filling so many gaps, yet it was very, fulfilling, and we got an opportunity to bring in some really tremendous athletes. So we're excited about it.
All right, Coach, I want to kind of go back and forth then between a little bit from 24 as we preview 25, talk about some players that had an impact, and obviously there's a gap there that will need to be filled. Let's talk about Megan Perry for just a moment. First team All-American, Cascade Player of the Year, Cascade Scholar Athlete of the Year, led the team with 3.26 kills, and did it hitting 381, which I think that's a number that's just fantastic. And
incredible.
It's really something to think about, not just the kills, but the fantastic hitting percentage to go with it. Had 94 blocks. And I also want to point this out because I think it's really cool. The Southern Oregon Business Department Student of the Year, too. So what a great year she had. Talk about her and what she meant to the team.
Yeah, I think, I know she took our mantra to heart. How you do anything is how you do everything. And, her on and off the court is the same human being. We're bringing her back as an assistant this year, and we know that will lend credence to our coaching staff. It's got to help me out a little bit. And then, she's just one of those phenomenal human beings that works hard every day. And she saw the fruits of her labor throughout the year. I feel like she's probably still getting awards today for something. I don't know what it is, but it seems like every week there was something coming in the last 2 months. So it was pretty cool.
I think that's fantastic. Well, you know what? The way Southern Oregon, the year Southern Oregon has had, somebody's getting an award for something right now. I would almost guarantee it. Here we are in the middle of June. With that in mind, then, do you know who might be stepping in to try to fill that position, or by committee?
Yeah, well, it'll be a little bit by committee, and you don't completely replace somebody that has that type of experience. Yeah, we had a young redshirt freshman last year that when Meg would be out or Hannah Stadstad would be out, that was also an All-American over the years for us. She would step in. Her name's Friley Curtis. She would step into that role nicely all throughout the year. And if you go back and look at the stats, and she's just a tremendous blocker, great offensively, and really one of those leader types as well. And she was young stepping into that role, and every time we needed her, she was phenomenal. So we expect that she'll contribute greatly there. And then, we've signed a couple this off season that are I believe ready to roll, and they'll step up. We got another lefty out of Miami-Dade Community College, junior college, and I think she'll be fantastic for us as well. So we're excited about it. I think filling that gap might be a lot to ask in a first year of anybody. Yet I think we have some people ready to give it a try.
We're visiting now with Coach Josh Rohlfing from Southern Oregon here on Midwest Sportsnet, and I encourage you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. It's very encouraging. Getting to speak now with Coach Rohlfing, who is heading into his 19th season, by the way, 389 wins. And Coach, I would think that it's I'm not going to say anything's a given, but it has to be pretty close to it that you're going to hit 400 in this upcoming year, winning at a percentage of better than 74%. And I will say also really quickly that I always liked the white brick wall behind me. I enjoy it. I appreciate it. It's very neutral. Someday I might have something different. Coach, your background just absolutely beats mine senseless right now. So props to you.
This is an unbelievable place to live, but I'll tell you what, I'm kind of cooking out here, so it's
okay.
It's pretty warm, but no, it is phenomenal. I hope the birds and all the other animals aren't too loud on this, but
no, it's great.
Awesome.
It is great. Okay, another senior then from last year, Kayla Knighty, played 4 years for you. 3 of those years averaged more than 3 digs per set over the course of the season. I know, again, big shoes to fill right there. Can you talk about her play and who might be stepping up there?
Yeah, the hardest aspect to replace of Kayla is, well, she was a hard worker for her entire existence in our program. She always gave 100% in practice. And so, again, she's one of those people that showed how you're supposed to do things on the court. And so that's going to be difficult to replace. And it's her serve receive. That was the catalyst to our offense over the years, her 3 years of starting for us. She was our serve receive, specialist. She was the person that came in all 6 rotations and passed the ball nails. I think for her career, we say like on a 3-point scale, 3 being the highest rating for a passer. She's somewhere around 2.4. to 2.5, so she's in between those marks. That is not something you get every year. She did it for 3 years, so that's going to be tough to replace. But we've got some young liberos coming up that worked behind her this past year, and then we've got some really incredible utility players that are outside hitters or right side hitters that can also serve receive and play stellar defense. So we anticipate that spot is going to be up for some really good competition, and I think when it's all said and done, that will end up being a strength for us.
The offense, and you talked a little bit about that too, but ran a 6.2 last year. Among those that are coming back, Annie Height will be a junior for you this year. She's coming back to be a part of that again. Are you going to continue with that look?
Yeah, we'll run a 6.2. If need be, we would go to a 5.1 at any point. But we've signed a couple really stellar setters, one with some great experience out of Clark University up there in Iowa, and then one that's going to be a freshman and coach's kid, which I don't think you can praise enough what that experience does for you. So both of them, I think, will come in and serve a great role in a 6.2 for us, and if it's not time to do that, then Annie will be phenomenal in a 5.1, and she's such a great leader. She's really, the floor general for us, has been for her 2 years so far, and just in that same vein of Megan, she's one of those people that does just as well in the classroom, does so much for our community. Anything we ask her to do, she does. She leads our black and red crew, which does our outreach for our athletic department. So just going to be a tremendous person for us and a great leader. So I anticipate we'll be just fine in that position.
All right then, Coach, as we get to know more about you and your program, the question of the summer for all the coaches then to learn a little bit more about who each one is. question is favorite 80s song or 80s band? Where's that fall for you?
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Prince. I Would Die for You. That is a perfect pop song, I think. It would be either OMD, If You Leave, or Prince, I Would Die for You, I think.
Okay. Right there in the middle of the 80s, and you're right. I think that's one of those. There were so many on that particular album for Prince. I mean,
oh my goodness!
Just like every time one would hit the pinnacle and be on its way down, there's another one coming up. So, all right.
Yeah. I thought about Friends in Low Places, but I don't think it came out until 90, because that was a big, at my high school dances, that was a huge song for our friend group to scream out and all of that. So, but I think that might have been 19.
You know what? That's right there on the edge. I don't recall either. I think and I was I was in college, 89, 93 there. So I think, could have been
right there.
Right there. Well, I'll look it up later. I know, and be able to add to that. Okay, season opener. You guys are hosting, and then you head down to Hope International for an invitational down there, and then of course the Cascade schedule, and that's a daunting portion of the schedule anyway too. Tell us a little bit about 25.
Yeah, we're looking at that first tournament. We got some teams coming in from Arizona that are very, very strong, up and coming programs that I watched last year. They were young. And so, with Arizona Christian and Park, I anticipate that'll be a great start for us there. And then Simpson will be in that tournament that we'll play as well. And then we'll have some Cascade Conference teams playing those teams too. And then that following weekend, we head down to Hope. And that kind of starts the year, the hard road stuff that we'll have. That'll be a great barometer for us, getting to play teams like Bellevue, who was in the national championship last year, and some of those probably top 10, top 5 type teams, and we'll get to find out who we are pretty quickly there. And then we have a week off where we'll get to scrimmage some D2 teams, and then we'll kick back up with that brutal gauntlet of Cascade Conference. So we're anticipating that the Cascade's going to be really deep this year, and it was last year, but we think it might be even better this year. So it's going to be a pretty tough one, but we're excited, and I really can't wait to see all these new faces on the court and see how they're going to contribute, and see how our returners are going to bring people along and just continue that growth, throughout the year.
Well, Coach, again, congratulations on a great year in 24, and we look ahead. We're going to follow the Raiders in 2025, most definitely. And I appreciate getting to know more about you and more about the program. Coach Josh Rohlfing from Southern Oregon, thank you very much, sir, for taking time with us today here on Midwest Sports Net.
I appreciate it, Joey. Take care.